the Twitter, takeover madness, new plan, all this.
Mm.
What do you think? How's it been going? Like, what have you made of it so far?
Um, so I work in tech. I mentioned that earlier. I think Elon Musk is probably so. First off, he's obviously he's a smart guy and he's got a relatively successful track record behind him.
Yeah.
Relative to me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I love the people being like, he's an idiot. And it's like, really? Like, he
yeah,
might have done some stupid shit here with Twitter, but like, I don't know
yeah.
if I'd say he's an idiot.
I mean, there's some outright ridiculous behaviour that's gone on in the last like month or so.
Oh, yeah.
Like the launch of Twitter Blue, allowing people to be verified, but giving them no requirement to provide verification documents, thereby allowing anyone to verify themselves as anyone. Like the most famous example was, I think, a couple of weeks ago, somebody verified and then changed their name to Tony Blair, put a picture of Tony Blair up, and then put the tweet out saying, "I miss killing Iraqi."
Oh my god, I didn't see that.
And then somebody did the same thing with the George Bush. George Bush tweeted it to it, saying, "Me too, lol." Right? Now this is dark shit, and it's
amazing.
Yes, it's dark and it's funny, but like I have a dark sense of humor. I can see the humor in it. I know it's disgusting, but let's crack on. Who could not see that problem? Fucking galloping towards them. Like, oh yeah, anyone can verify for like $8. Really? Anyone can verify? Yeah, it'd be fine. Yeah, we'll get loads of money in. Right, okay. Sure there's no downsides to this? Nah. And so there's stuff like that. And then he's asked his developers to print out their code reviews, like email his code reviews to him. Which, as a guy who reviews code, I'm like, what? Like, you have a whole thing called GitHub for this, like where somebody checks their code in, and you could look like, why is it this theatrical thing of like, I want you to email, you've got to walk in here with your printed out code, and we're gonna go through it like it's really weird.
I want you to write it out
Yeah.
and fax it.
But then there's some other stuff. Like I do think there's a bloated middle management layer to a lot of these companies. I do think they're run like headless chickens. When I asked you earlier about like, are you naturally suspicious about things? I was sort of going to go on to, like, I've worked for about 3 or 4 big organizations, and one of the reasons I'm not so naturally suspicious, and I don't really buy into conspiracies much, is in these big organizations, of which some of these conspiracies would have to take the form of a big organization. They're fucking chaos. Like, nothing is done on time. People are scared to tell each other if they fuck something up, so other things fuck up in turn. 2 people think that they're doing a different job, but then they end up doing the same job. Things are, it's just chaos. Organizations are run awfully, and I think for conspiracies to run as seamlessly and perfectly as they would have to is a stretch for me. Anyway, to bring it back to Twitter, I guess my broad take on it is that it's been pretty funny
It's definitely been funny.
I don't think it's going to work particularly well for him.
In what way? Because I've been trying to figure out what way I think it's going to go.
Well, I think if they relaunch Twitter Blue and ask people to provide documents, that will tidy up a lot of the misinformation and bots. Like a lot of the problems I think that we had around the Trump vote and the Brexit vote, I think stemmed from Russian bots and misinformation. I think if we could clean up the user base in Twitter, it would be good. I always said, like, if you want to use Twitter anonymously, and there's loads of people who do for valid reasons, that's fine. That's your right. But my right, in turn, is that I don't think I should have... Like, if you want to be anonymous, I shouldn't have to see you. Like, that is... What could be more anonymous than that? But it's like, it's my right to internet safety that I shouldn't have to... If I can tick a button or click the toggle, I shouldn't have to see unverified accounts that are where they say they are and are who they say they are. And I think you could clean up a lot of the problems on Twitter by allowing people like me to just inhabit a safe online presence and not have to deal with weird trolley accounts and pylons and shit. Like, so I think if he puts in protections like that, it could improve it. But I don't think, like, 44 billion, man, is a big chunk of other people's money, and I just can't see Twitter becoming that profitable where like he can either pay that money back or people can make money out of the stake that they took.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet either. The video streaming thing is going to be very interesting because they're talking about two things. They've said that they're gonna expand the video hosting stuff to 2 hours max for Twitter Blue people.
Cool.
Up to 40 gigabytes.
Yeah.
2 hours of 40 gigabytes. And then there's talk about Twitter payments. So what I assume is now going to happen is that there's going to be a lot more video content going to be on Twitter. I assume that's going to form like a new tab or something in it.
Yeah.
And I think that they will then start taking payments, tips for creators. And then Twitter will scrape some of the money from that.
Yeah.
And so I think that will form quite a substantial new revenue stream for them. And I also think that they've got a jump on YouTube at that point. Because there's been Rumble and Odyssey sort of like plugging away, and brand new YouTube as well, I gotta say, for Sonny Polton.
Yeah.
But they've been sort of chugging away these three as like the ones that are going to replace YouTube. And I think Odyssey has potentially the best chance.
Right.
I'm not sure. I don't use Rumble a whole lot, so it's hard to tell. I know there's a lot of stuff on Rumble.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with them.
But Odyssey's like a blockchain based one. I'm actually on. I have Odyssey as well. I've like all my podcasts are on Odyssey as well, but it's because it rips straight from YouTube. And then posts all your stuff from your YouTube channel on your Odyssey channel.
Okay.
And then you can like upload stuff specifically only there if you don't want it to be on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then they have they've their own token that people can tip you in and like give you things. So I've got, I don't know, like 80 quid's worth of tips just from people watching.
Yeah.
Because you generate the tokens by watching videos, and you get reward for watching it, and then you can give it to like creators, and then at some point they can cash out if they get enough that it's worth it.
Yeah.
Which I think is a cool idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
It requires your token to be worth something, which is why I don't think Twitter will create their own one. I assume they'll just piggyback onto Bitcoin or probably Dogecoin, which would be quite entertaining.
Yeah.
But
then where does the free speech stuff fit into it? Because
this is why I think they got the jump on YouTube, because YouTube has become a place where no one knows what they're allowed to say. Like I find it very difficult to discuss the lab leak theory from regarding the origin of COVID.
Did you get strikes for it?
I didn't get strikes.
Right.
But I was very, very concerned I would get strikes.
Right.
I was talking to people who were very seriously investigating the subject, not some fucking nutcase. Like people with qualifications who took a long time to speak to a lot of smart people. Shari Markson, for example, who wrote the book What Really Happened in Wuhan. Former, like a couple of different like epidemiologists who were looking at like the structure of it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, right, what can we say? Because YouTube are so opaque about what is and isn't okay. And that just, I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy wondering, because like I'm not out here trying to claim like I know what I'm talking about. I'm not out here trying to claim that the person opposite me is definitely 100% right about anything ever.
Yeah.
Right? What I'm trying to do is like find smart people to discuss things that are interesting to me, and that I think the origin of COVID is a huge fucking deal.
Yeah.
Like it shut down the world for 2 years. I think we should be very seriously being very pissed at the Chinese.
Yeah. So okay, but then if you peel this onion a little, right?
Yeah.
So I don't like being kept in the dark either. If I upload a video to YouTube and it's got, let's say it's got some proof on it or something of substance that suggests that the lab leak theory, that there's a lot of what's the word, a lot of
Evidence,
credence to it, right? And then it picks up, it gains traction, goes on the front of the Independence website, Metro blast it out, Fox News pick it up, Tucker Carlson starts talking about it, then it's the subject of the Tonight Show. It bleeds out into the pop culture consensus. Everyone is talking about like, oh fuck, did you see that video? Oh yeah, and it had a scientist on there and it talked to... Suddenly this is a geopolitical issue, and you've got Biden talking to President Xi, and the two of them are so, like the US, China, the UK, China, they're so inextricably linked through finance, through like how comfortable would you be letting something like that bubble up? Because I've got to be honest, I have questions also around that. I think there's a lot of like coincidences and strange denials and black spots.
You mean like when the Chinese government went in September 2019 and just destroyed everything in the lab and destroyed all the evidence?
And there was they checked the traffic going in and out of that facility, and I think it was about a month or 6 weeks before the whole shit blew up. There was some incident that took place there where no one was allowed in or out. And they've never explained that.
No. And they never found any trace of COVID or anything anything similar in any bat in Wuhan or pangolin.
Yeah.
No live animal like possible transmission thing was found ever.
Yeah.
Moderna, this is the fucking stupid one, right? Moderna were part of like funding some of the gain of function research and stuff on different coronaviruses. And it's like, innocuous, fine, like companies do that.
Yeah.
Part of one of the things that they had patented, which from 2015, this sequence, right, that they have patented.
Yeah.
And it would make sense if pharmaceutical companies are working in this area and then other scientists are coming along and like doing different experiments based on things. It doesn't have to be some stupid monster conspiracy that Moderna have created COVID and then released it for the profit, right? But there's a sequence in there that's identical to this Moderna patent.
Yeah.
There's a 1 in 3 billion chance that that's a coincidence.
Yeah.
And it's just like, seems like they were working on it at that lab.
But then you have
seems like,
to believe that is what happened. Firstly, you have to believe that they would be like, nobody will spot this. This could be the biggest fucking pandemic.
That. Like, what I think is like what happened is that they were working on gain of function research at this lab, which they were.
Yeah.
I've spoken to the whistleblowers personally.
Yeah.
Seemed like really smart and concerned people. They were working on bat coronaviruses and making them more infectious to humans, especially using both live bats and genetically engineered mice whose lungs are meant to be more like humans.
Right.
They're working on coronaviruses there, with a place that had safety violations, where they were storing a whole bunch of different viruses. That's right beside where the outbreak happens, where they went in and stopped, where the Chinese government went in, destroyed a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Refused to answer any questions.
Yeah.
It's like, I shouldn't be worried about being banned from YouTube for talking about that.
Yeah.
To bring it back to where we were at.
But
it's like, and even if I'm wrong,
yeah,
I shouldn't be banned for talking about that.
So I agree.
Because I could still be wrong. Yeah. Someone might find the fucking bat, I think,
so morally, ethically, I think you have a right to ask those questions. And I wonder a lot about that stuff. I'm like, I think on the balance of probabilities, there's probably a 60-40 chance that something dodgy happened and that we absolutely don't know the full extent of it. And we probably won't, because to know that would bubble up into a huge geopolitical problem that could result in some sort of nuclear war. And I think on the US side and within the UK and the EU, I think people way, way smarter than me probably fucking know that.
Decided to not rock the boat.
Yeah. But to piss off China and to fundamentally destabilize the world, I think they're looking at it like, let's just fuck it. Like, maybe we leave this one for the history books for like 50 years time. Somebody can blow the lid on it. But like for now, let's, but like, and I'm happy to take that bullet to not talk about it on YouTube. I'm happy to live in blissful ignorance if it keeps the world alive, because I'm a fucking good God.
Oh, I mean, you got a point. Maybe I'm causing, fucking...
You're such a troublemaker.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
But like, to your point, what you were saying about how it like spreads out, it could end up on the Independent and the Metro and then on Fox News. It's like, all those people should be doing their due diligence. Hey everyone, thanks for making it right the way to the end of the podcast. I love that you tuned in this long. Do me a favor, hit subscribe, because 80% of you bastards are not subscribing, but you're watching my videos. See you next time.